The streets of Harlem lay cloaked in early morning mist. Street lamps flickered against brick walls, casting long shadows that seemed alive. Somewhere a soft trumpet note lingered like a voice calling from the past. In 1918, across oceans and battlefields, African American soldiers prepared to march. Official rosters recorded their names. Yet, whispers claim many would vanish. Fate unknown, phantom regiment of colored troops. The city pulsed with jazz and laughter, yet hidden corners held secrets newspapers would never print. Children playing in alleyways passed by shadows of memories. Women hung laundry unaware that the wind carried echoes of soldiers' footsteps far away. Every clap of heels, every creaking door seemed to whisper stories long forgotten. Some claimed to hear drums at midnight, where no one stood. In the barracks, men lined their uniforms with meticulous care. Coats, buttoned belts, cinched tight caps, slightly askew. They spoke in low tones of home, of sisters, of brothers, of fields they would never see again. Yet outside, the fog seemed to bend toward them, as if it carried messages from the fallen. Soldiers recounted seeing visions at dusk, shadows moving just beyond campfires. Across the Atlantic, letters traveled slowly. Some arrived stained with tears, others never arrived at all. Families waited with anxious hope, holding on to spirituals sung in candlelit cabins. Laments about lost sons, lines repeating in hushed voices, ghosts of the past woven into the daily rhythm of life. Official dispatches spoke of valor, discipline, and tireless duty. Yet folklore painted a different scene. Stories of men disappearing on night marches, of phantom drums echoing through forests, of eyes watching from smoke and shadow. One officer's diary mentioned the violin playing by itself in abandoned huts. In Harlem, corners of the city hid murmurs of spirits. A baritone voice sang an old spiritual, its melody carrying across rooftops. Some claimed the tune was a warning. Others believed it summoned memories long buried. Children whispered of apparitions passing between buildings, shapes that moved only when no one looked directly. Soldiers marched past tents and crates, their boots sinking into dirt-streaked paths. European architecture loomed faintly through mist. Every gesture, every glance carried unspoken history. Comrades spoke of seeing friends who had vanished in the night, faces appearing in dreams, only to fade before sunrise. Some swore that the wind carried voices, commands from the past, the fallen speaking in unison. Legends of the Phantom Regiment became intertwined with reports of courage on the battlefield. Each story layered upon the next, fact and folklore inseparable. Evening brought candlelight into cabins and barracks alike. Shadows stretched unnaturally along walls. Soldiers spoke of spectral figures moving between bunks, whispered warnings, dreams of fire, the smell of smoke without flame. Families at home felt unease, the world distant yet deeply connected. Drums echoed faintly from somewhere beyond the camp. No one could pinpoint the source. Some said it was a trick of the wind. Others swore the Phantom Regiment was practicing unseen maneuvers. Eyes strained into the fog, heartbeats syncing with invisible rhythms. Stories persisted that certain men carried tokens from the spirit world, a carved violin bow, a worn medal that belonged to someone missing, messages written in code only they understood, every object a fragment of a larger mystery. The fog over Harlem thickened at night. Street corners seemed to move. Shadows danced as if rehearsing long-forgotten steps. Soldiers whispered about seeing friends in uniform who were no longer alive. And yet they swore the men were marching, somewhere, always. Campsites across France and Belgium mirrored the same phenomena. Letters mentioned silent marches, strange signals in the dark shadows without bodies. Officers dismissed reports as stress or imagination. But soldiers knew something lingered, beyond comprehension. Young men wrote diaries they would never finish. Pages left blank, mid-sentence ink smeared. Words hinting at voices calling them from the trees, from the smoke. From the histories erased, the Phantom Regiment was alive in memory, if not in sight. As dawn broke, the fog lifted slightly. Streets of Harlem shimmered with gold light. Yet even in brightness, shadows persisted. Echoes of footsteps, murmurs of songs, remnants of men whose fates were unknown. The city held its breath, waiting, listening, remembering. Reports continued to filter back from distant battlefields. Letters arrived soaked with rain, words smeared half-formed. Families waited with growing dread. Official rosters recorded names, yet gaps remained. Men who marched into the fog, never to return. Phantom Regiment whispers followed the wind. shaping every rumor in the camp. Soldiers recounted nights thick with mist, trees bent unnaturally, the scent of smoke without fire, drums that beat softly in the distance, rhythmically, persistently. No drummer in sight. Officers dismissed the reports, but the men knew. Something beyond comprehension lingered, unseen, unclaimed by history. On one particular night, a young corporal left his tent for the latrine, past rows of bunks, crates, supplies, and when he turned back, a comrade sitting moments before was gone. Nothing remained, only the faint echo of a bugle note, haunting, fading, then returning, like a heartbeat of the unseen. In Harlem, families spoke of young soldiers leaving with high spirits, yet whispers persisted, tales of vanished men, spirituals carried through alleys bending strangely in the night air, voices layered over voices, singing of lost courage and the unseen, the city listening, remembering. Across European towns, soldiers filed reports. Drill formations accounted for, but gaps persisted, missing men listed as absent without trace. Locals claimed to see groups of soldiers moving silently at dusk, figures with uniforms identical to known regiments, yet moving in perfect alignment, like shadows, moving without sound. Nightly dreams plagued the men, visions of vanished comrades, marching through fields glowing under spectral moonlight, faces familiar gestures, precise fading before they could be touched. Dreams became bridges, connecting the living to the vanished, memories folding over reality. Some soldiers reported objects moving on their own, helmets shifting, packs sliding across floors, letters flipping open, notes appearing where none had been placed, subtle signs dismissed by officers. Yet proof existed, proof that the regiment's presence lingered beyond the physical, a force intertwined with memory and history. Fog thickened each night. Drums and bugles played in unison with no visible source. Soldiers instinctively fell in line, mimicking phantom commands. Footsteps echoed from nowhere, shadows mirrored formation, a rhythm of discipline, practiced in silence, remembered, repeated. A letter from the front detailed a supply convoy attacked, yet soldiers returned unharmed. Civilians insisted a second unseen convoy moved alongside, moving silently, precise, unreal. When the regiment returned, officers recorded nothing unusual, but the men remembered every phantom step, every echo. Spirituals became lifelines, sung quietly in tents, each note carrying history memory warning. Elderly voices in distant towns claimed to hear the voices of soldiers, songs blending with melodies of ancestors, the living and the vanished, walking together through time. Phantom sightings multiplied. France, Belgium, Harlem upon return, shadows mirrored movements, drums and bugles sounding distant, haunting. Not imagination, but memory incarnate, present, unavoidable. The regiment marching in spaces unseen. Soldiers vanished mid-march, one moment present, the next, gone. Only footprints remained, sometimes leading nowhere, sometimes ending at forest edges. Diaries left unfinished, pages torn, letters unopened. Each disappearance deepened the legend, intensifying fear, weaving mystery. Returning veterans were haunted. Faces appeared in reflective surfaces, fleeting, familiar, not alive. Names whispered, friends counted no longer. Ghostly reminders that some stories could never fully be told. Echoes of absence, reverberating. Fact and folklore intertwined. Exoduster maps and rosters captured one layer. Whispered stories persisted. Sightings dreamed shadows. The phantom regiment existed between spaces. In the pause of a drumbeat, in the silence of night marches, walking beside the living, shaping history unseen. Shadows moved ahead, guiding, warning. Objects appeared, musical notes lingered, the faint scent of smoke. All signs pointed to the unseen, to the memory of the lost, marching alongside the living, unseen but undeniable, shaping every step. Nights grew longer, fog rolled over camps. Soldiers felt eyes watching, unseen. Rhythms synced with invisible marching. Some spoke of seeing men in their tents, standing silently, then vanishing, leaving only the echo of a drum. Families waiting sensed unease, windows rattling, footsteps on empty streets. Songs sung in memory became warnings, whispers of presence, absence. Lives recorded but not fully accounted, haunting the city, resonating across time. Letters returned undeliverable, diaries mid-sentence, unfinished thoughts, stories hushed. He left and never came back. We saw him march past the river, then vanished. Each event added to legend, deepening tension, weaving uncertainty into fact. Soldiers carried small tokens, carved objects, letters left behind, gifts from vanished friends, fragments of memory, reminders that history could not contain everything, that truths were held in shadow, in absence, lingering, waiting. As dawn broke, fog lifted slightly, Harlem shimmered, yet shadows persisted, echoes of footsteps, murmurs of songs, remnants of men whose fates were unknown. The city held its breath, waiting, listening, remembering, the phantom regiment alive in collective memory. The first disappearance occurred at the break of dusk. A laborer working near the edge of the plantation fields vanished. One moment tending the soil, the next, nothing, only footprints leading into the fog. Soldiers and civilians searched, calling his name, but the wind carried nothing back, only whispers of the phantom regiment marching past. In a neighboring town, smoke rose from an abandoned cabin. No fire burned, yet the smell of burning cane lingered. Windows rattled, doors slammed without cause. Locals reported seeing shadowy figures pass between the trees, marching in unison, ghostly precise, each step silent, yet echoing deep within memory. Midnight brought drumbeats across distant hills. Soldiers in the barracks awoke, hearts racing, eyes scanned the darkness. Some swore the figures they saw were men from other units. Others vanished, marching as if alive and dead at once. The rhythm carried through the fog, insistent, hypnotic, impossible to ignore. Letters arrived torn, half-inked messages, hinting at strange sightings, reports of shadows moving against the wind. Soldiers began to whisper about men disappearing during night drills, never again returning. Footsteps echoed alone on empty roads. The regiment's presence lingered in every corner, unseen, unavoidable. A small town along the river awoke to missing livestock. People claimed the animals were led away by invisible hands. Tracks formed strange patterns, footprints of men, yet no bodies. Witnesses spoke of phantom drums in the distance, echoing from the fog, a melody of disappearance and unseen discipline. Soldiers stationed on supply lines reported strange signals. Lanterns flickered, shadows shifted unnaturally. A soldier looking to the tree line saw figures pass tall and silent, uniforms matching those of their regiment. Yet when officers arrived, nothing was found, only the memory, lingering, like smoke, like song. One young recruit saw a friend vanish mid-drill. His eyes followed the figure, walking into the mist, then gone. Nothing remained, except a faint bugle note, echoing, fading, returning. Each repetition made the night longer, heavier, every heartbeat attuned to absence, the phantom regiment alive in memory. Families in Harlem sensed unease, windows rattling, distant footsteps on empty streets. Spirituals sung by women at home seemed to twist, carrying warnings, whispers of those gone. Each melody an unseen warning, stories passed quietly, never printed, only spoken between hushed breaths. Soldiers found objects misplaced, helmets shifted, packs slid, letters opened, notes appeared, subtle, inexplicable movements, dismissed by superiors, yet the men knew, signs of something beyond the physical, presence intertwined with memory and fear. The phantom regiment watching, shaping events unseen. Drums echoed across open fields, silent yet felt in bones. Soldiers instinctively fell in line, mimicking commands they never heard. Footsteps mirrored in fog, shadows aligning, rhythm and discipline carried by the invisible. Practice of the departed, ghostly precision, hypnotic unrelenting. A market town reported strange sightings at dawn, figures moving through streets, uniforms identical to soldiers long deployed. Citizens felt the air thicken, time itself seemed to pause. Shadows advanced, then vanished, whispers lingered, the regiment's memory marching in parallel with reality. Night brought dreams thick with warning. Soldiers imagined comrades who had vanished, walking through forests aglow with spectral light, faces familiar, gestures precise, fading before recognition. Each dream a bridge, linking the living and the vanished, each heartbeat syncing with unseen footsteps. Letters marked undeliverable arrived, diaries torn mid-sentence. Each disappearance deepened legend, Tension, fear, fascination intertwined. Songs sung intense at night. Spirituals bending strangely. Voices layered over voices. History and memory merging, shaping every step. Civilian eyewitnesses reported shadowed processions, marching in alignment, drums without drummers, bugles sounding faintly, impossible yet undeniable. Each account repeated across towns, reality and folklore converging, unseen yet persistent, haunting every waking moment. Soldiers vanished during night marches, one moment present, the next gone, footprints alone remaining, leading into fog, or ending abruptly. Diaries left unfinished, letters unopened, each disappearance weaving tension into the fabric of memory, the phantom regiment marching unseen. Returning veterans haunted by visions, faces in reflective surfaces, fleeting, familiar, not alive, names whispered, friends counted no longer, ghostly reminders, stories that could never be fully told, shadows of history lingering, ever present. Fog rolled over plantations and camps alike. Trees swayed, paths seemed alive. Soldiers heard whispers in the mist, voices calling names, rhythmic steps in sync with heartbeat, melody of loss and unseen courage. The phantom regiment weaving between reality and legend. Nightly songs carried through tents, spirituals blending with winds, melodies layered over memory, warnings, guides, lamentations, living and vanished intertwined, footsteps echoing, shaping decisions, guiding paths. Supply convoys reported unseen companions, marching beside them silently, shadows moving with mechanical precision. Soldiers could not speak, only feel presence. Commands obeyed without sound, invisible yet undeniable, presence shaping the world around them. Smoke rose over abandoned fields, windows rattled in distant towns. Citizens whispered of phantom drums, shadowed figures. Soldiers' letters hinted at unseen movements, names disappearing from rosters. Yet marching continued, life and memory entwined. The phantom regiment alive, persistent, unyielding. One soldier awoke to footsteps circling his tent, no one visible. Shadows shifted unnaturally. Objects moved. Letters turned open. Whispers carried on wind. He shivered. The regiment, present, watching, testing, shaping destiny. Fields once quiet now hummed with echoes. Rhythm of steps, ghostly drills. Soldiers swore they saw comrades lost long ago, walking beside them, silently, precise, memory incarnate, haunting reality, impossible to ignore. Families reported midnight lights, lanterns swinging, shadows marching past, no sound, no bodies, only feeling, unease settling deep. Every town, every camp, stories repeated, each legend reinforcing the presence, unstoppable, unforgettable. Soldiers carried tokens, small carved objects, gifts from friends who vanished, each fragment a memory, a warning, proof of existence beyond physical. The phantom regiment moving in silence, in memory, in shadow, shaping history unseen. As dawn approached, fog lifted slightly, Harlem shimmered, yet shadows persisted, echoes of footsteps, murmurs of songs, remnants of men whose fates were unknown. The city held its breath, waiting, listening, remembering. The phantom regiment alive in collective memory, marching forever. Reports from Harlem and distant battlefields converged. Letters from the front told of men marching under spectral moonlight. Some returned altered, faces pale, eyes haunted. Others vanished completely. Official records noted bravery, valor, yet gaps persisted. Families whispered. They marched, but not all came back. Phantom regiment lingered, unseen, unforgettable. Soldiers spoke of objects moving without touch. Helmets shifted. Packs slid across the ground. Letters opened by unseen hands. Notes appeared where none had been placed. Officers dismissed it, yet men felt presence, undeniable, guiding, testing. Each movement a fragment of the story, a fragment of memory, echoing across the fog. On the battlefield, drum beats carried across empty fields. Soldiers fell into rhythm instinctively. Though no drummer was present, shadows mirrored formation, uniformed figures gliding silently, feet striking dirt, echoing in sync with hearts. The phantom regiment existed between fact and legend, commanding the unseen, shaping perception, haunting reality. Families in Harlem awoke to whispers, windows rattling, doors slamming without cause, spirituals sung in candlelit rooms bent strangely, voices overlapping voices, warnings, memories, laments, children huddled near hearths, listening, feeling, knowing, history, breathing in the shadows. One young soldier vanished mid-march. His comrade glanced back. Nothing. Only the echo of a bugle note, haunting the night, fading, returning, like the heartbeat of something long gone, yet present. The regiment existed in memory and shadow, in absence, yet alive. Civilians along supply routes reported unseen companions, marching silently beside soldiers, shadows identical, movements precise, reality blurred. Soldiers spoke in whispers, the phantom regiment walking alongside them, guiding, testing, shaping, unseen. Dreams haunted men relentlessly. Comrades lost to fog and battle appeared, marching through ghostly fields, faces familiar, gestures precise, fading before recognition. Each dream linked past and present, memory and reality intertwined, the living and the vanished, inseparable. Letters arrived with cryptic messages, ink smeared, sentences broken mid-thought, diaries left unfinished. Each account added to the legend, reinforcing fear, fascination, and the certainty of the unseen. Every soldier a witness, every footprint a question. Villages reported strange lights, lanterns swinging in empty streets, shadows marching past. No sound, no bodies, only sensation, unease sinking deep, echoes repeated, across forests, rivers, and fog-laden fields. The phantom regiment moved, always, silently, watching. Soldiers carried tokens, carved objects, small gifts from vanished comrades, fragments of memory, proofs of existence beyond the physical. Every item a reminder that history held secrets, shadows that would not release their hold, lessons whispered in silence. Drumbeats persisted at night, faint, irregular, then synchronized, echoing through misty forests. Soldiers obeyed commands not spoken, movements mirrored by shadows. The rhythm became hypnotic, commanding the unseen, memory and legend blending, guiding action. Reports of spectral figures multiplied. France, Belgium, Harlem, shadows mirrored movements. Drums and bugles sounded faintly, impossible, undeniable. Each account carried across continents. The phantom regiment alive, walking between dimensions, commanding attention, shaping memory. Soldiers disappeared during night drills. One moment present, the next, gone. Only footprints remained, leading nowhere. Diaries torn, letters unopened. Each disappearance a thread, weaving fear, legend, and memory, connecting past to present. Returning veterans haunted by visions. Faces appeared in reflective surfaces, fleeting, familiar, not alive. Ghostly reminders of stories never fully told. Absence louder than words. Presence more vivid than life itself. Lingering, persistent, undeniable. Fog rolled over plantations' camps. Trees swayed unnaturally. Paths seemed alive. Soldiers heard whispers in the mist, voices calling names, rhythmic steps in sync with heartbeat, melody of loss and unseen courage, guiding every footstep, shaping reality. Phantom sightings were repeated across towns. Shadows moved in precise alignment, no sound, uniforms identical to soldiers long deployed. Citizens sensed the air thicken. Time itself seemed to pause, legends merging with reality, haunting every waking moment. Objects displaced mysteriously, letters flipping open, notes appearing, subtle, inexplicable, dismissed by superiors. Soldiers felt the presence, guiding, watching, testing, a living memory beyond the physical, shaping perception, shaping fear. Nightly songs, spirituals sung softly, melodies bending strangely, layered over memory, warnings, guidance, lamentations, footsteps echoing unseen, the living intertwined with vanished soldiers. Each note a bridge, each melody a story, haunting, instructive, persistent. Convoys reported unseen companions, shadows marching silently, moving with mechanical precision. Soldiers could not speak, only feel presence, commands obeyed without sound, visible only in memory, shaping the course of events, impossible to ignore. Smoke rose over abandoned fields, doors rattled in distant towns, Phantom drums sounded, shadowed figures moved. Soldiers' letters hinted at unseen movements. Names disappeared from rosters. Marching continued, life and memory entwined. Reality blurred, the Phantom Regiment alive, persistent. Dawn approached, fog lifted slightly, yet shadows persisted. Echoes of footsteps, murmurs of songs, remnants of men whose fates were unknown. Streets of Harlem held their breath, listening, remembering. The Phantom Regiment alive in collective memory, marching forever. Soldiers spoke in whispers, voices trembled, dreams recurring, faces fading in moonlight. Each man carried memory of comrades, vanished, ghostly echoes embedded in their steps, reality bending around presence, impossible to escape, history and legend fused. Windows rattled, lanterns swung, streets empty, footsteps circling towns, shadows aligned perfectly. Invisible yet undeniable, townsfolk whispered, fear mixed with fascination. The Phantom Regiment moving silently, everywhere, nowhere, shaping narrative unseen. Tokens appeared on bunks, letters returned, small carved objects, fragments of lives missing, proof of existence beyond physical reality. Memory embodied in objects, shaping legend, guiding living soldiers, haunting those who remembered, unseen. As night faded, fog dissipated, Harlem shimmered in early light, shadows persisted, echoes of footsteps, murmurs of songs, remnants of men, fates unknown. The city waited, listening, remembering. Phantom Regiment alive, persistent, unyielding, marching forever. The fog thickened across abandoned towns, windows shattered without cause, streets empty. Yet shadows moved, perfectly aligned. The Phantom Regiment appeared in fragments, marching silently, their presence shaping every heartbeat. Soldiers whispered of comrades long vanished, returning, unseen, every step precise, haunting, unforgettable. A laborer vanished in the middle of a night watch. His footprints stopped us at the edge of the river, ripples echoing silently. No cries, no bodies, only the rhythm of distant drums, echoing across the mist. Soldiers feared, some prayed, all remembered. The Phantom Regiment watching, always. Dream narratives grew vivid. Soldiers saw spectral figures performing drills, marching across mist-laden fields, faces familiar, gestures precise, fading before recognition. Each vision a bridge, connecting the living to the vanished, memory and legend intertwining, impossible to distinguish. In an abandoned plantation cabin, a candle flickered. Shadows danced along walls. Soldiers swore they saw uniforms gliding silently, boots striking the floor, yet no bodies. Letters written and left on tables, ink smeared, half sentences, fragments of the unseen, proof, warning, memory incarnate. Supply convoys reported strange companions, invisible yet present, marching in perfect alignment, shadows mirroring formations, commands obeyed without sound. Soldiers could only feel the rhythm, the weight of history pressing on them. The Phantom Regiment moved in silence, shaping fear, shaping reality. Families in Harlem sensed the unease. Whispers at night, rattling windows, footsteps echoing down empty streets. Spirituals sung in candlelight shifted, layered melodies carrying warnings. Songs became instructions, histories folded into memory, the living intertwined with the vanished. Soldiers carrying tokens, carved objects, gifts from vanished comrades, letters unopened, diaries torn mid-sentence, proof of existence beyond the physical. The Phantom Regiment moving through time, guiding, watching, shaping every step of the living, memory embodied in objects. Drums and bugles played without drummers, rhythm echoing through fog. Soldiers fell into line instinctively, mimicking phantom commands. Shadows mirrored formation, invisible precision, hypnotic relentless, memory and legend fused, guiding unseen movements. A town reported livestock disappearing, traces of shadowy figures, footprints leading nowhere. People whispered of drums echoing, phantom movements across fields. Soldiers felt the presence, history alive in shadow, absence turning into guidance, fear blending with fascination. Soldiers vanished mid-march, one moment present, the next gone. Footprints alone remained, leading into forests, diaries left unfinished, letters unopened. Each disappearance a thread weaving into legend. Fear amplified, mystery deepened, the Phantom Regiment alive in memory. Returning veterans were haunted, faces fleeting in reflective surfaces, familiar, not alive, ghostly reminders, absence louder than words, presence more vivid than life, lingering, impossible to escape, stories of the regiment etched in every corner of memory. Fog rolled over camps and fields alike, shadows moving unnaturally, whispers calling names, rhythmic steps echoing heartbeat, melody of loss and unseen courage. Each footstep shaping reality, memory made physical, the Phantom Regiment guiding, testing, shaping destiny. Phantom sightings multiplied across towns, shadows moving in perfect alignment, no sound, uniforms identical. Citizens sensed the air thicken, time paused, legends merging with reality, haunting, persistent. The Phantom Regiment alive, every moment, ever present. Objects displaced mysteriously, letters flipping open, notes appearing, subtle, inexplicable, dismissed by officers. Yet soldiers felt presence, guiding, testing, memory embodied, shaping perception, shaping fear, legend made real. Nightly spirituals, soft melodies bending strangely, layered over memory, warnings, guidance, lamentations, footsteps echoing unseen, living intertwined with vanished soldiers. Each note a bridge, each melody a story, haunting, instructive, persistent. Supply convoys reported unseen companions, marching silently, shadows moving with mechanical precision. Soldiers could not speak, only feel presence, commands obeyed without sound, visible only in memory, shaping events, shaping fear. Smoke rose over abandoned fields, doors rattled in towns, phantom drums sounded, shadowed figures moved. Soldiers' letters hinted at unseen movements, names disappeared from rosters, marching continued, life and memory entwined, reality blurred. Soldiers awoke to footsteps circling tents, no one visible. Shadows shifted unnaturally, objects moved, letters turned open, whispers carried on wind. The regiment present, watching, testing, shaping destiny. Fields once quiet hummed with echoes, rhythm of steps, ghostly drills. Soldiers saw comrades lost long ago, walking beside them, silently, precise, memory incarnate, haunting, impossible to ignore. Families reported midnight lights, lanterns swinging, shadows marching past, no sound, no bodies, unease settling deep. Every town, every camp, stories repeated, each legend reinforcing the presence, unstoppable, unforgettable. Soldiers carried small tokens, carved objects, letters left behind, fragments of lives missing, proof of existence beyond physical reality, memory embodied in objects, shaping legend, guiding the living, haunting those who remembered, unseen. Dawn approached, fog lifted slightly, Harlem shimmered, yet shadows persisted, echoes of footsteps, murmurs of songs, remnants of men whose fates were unknown. The city held its breath, waiting, listening, remembering. Soldiers spoke in whispers, voices trembled, dreams recurring, faces fading in moonlight. Each man carried memory of comrades vanished, ghostly echoes embedded in steps, reality bending around presence, history and legend fused. Windows rattled, lanterns swung, streets empty, footsteps circling towns, shadows aligned perfectly, invisible yet undeniable. Townsfolk whispered. Fear mixed with fascination, the Phantom Regiment moving silently, everywhere, nowhere, shaping narrative unseen. As night faded, fog dissipated, Harlem shimmered in early light, shadows persisted, echoes of footsteps, murmurs of songs, remnants of men, fates unknown. The city waited, listening, remembering. Phantom Regiment alive in collective memory, marching forever. The abandoned town lay silent, windows boarded, streets cracked with age. Fog rolled through alleys, carrying the rhythm of unseen feet. Soldiers approaching felt the weight of history pressing down. Footsteps echoing with memories. The Phantom Regiment marched unseen, shaping the night, testing courage, demanding remembrance. In the remains of a burnt cabin, a single candle flickered, shadows danced unnaturally. Soldiers swore they saw uniforms gliding silently, boots striking the floor in time, yet no bodies present. Letters opened themselves, Notes appeared in ink, the past asserting itself, alive in absence, unavoidable. Dream narratives intensified. Men saw comrades lost long ago marching across spectral fields, faces familiar, gestures precise, fading mid-step. Each vision a bridge between worlds, living and vanished, every heartbeat attuned to the rhythm of memory, the phantom regiment always present. Soldiers felt hands brushing objects, helmets, packs, letters, shifting without touch, proof of presence, guidance, warning. Officers ignored it, but the men knew. Shadows carried history, every movement a message, every silence a warning, memory made physical. Drumbeats echoed through fog-laden forests. Soldiers fell into formation instinctively, shadows aligned, ghostly precision, hypnotic, relentless. Commands obeyed silently. The regiment existed between worlds, memory and legend entwined, shaping action unseen, dictating fear and reverence. Families in Harlem sensed unease. Windows rattled, distant footsteps, spirituals sung at home bent strangely, notes overlapping, layered with warnings, voices of ancestors and soldiers, inseparable, past and present entwined, guiding, cautioning, haunting. Soldiers carried carved tokens, gifts from vanished comrades, letters left unfinished, diaries torn, fragments of the past, proof of existence beyond the physical. Every object a tether to memory, shaping legend, influencing the living, haunting all who remembered. Fog thickened over plantations and camps. Shadows shifted unnaturally, whispers calling names, rhythmic steps echoing heartbeats, melody of courage and unseen presence. Each footstep shaping reality, memory made tangible, the phantom regiment present, watching, shaping destiny. Phantom sightings intensified across towns, France, Belgium, Harlem, shadows moving in alignment, no sound, uniforms identical, air thick with tension. Townsfolk whispered, reality bent, legend and history merged, haunting, omnipresent. Soldiers vanished mid-march, one moment present, the next gone, footprints remaining, leading into forests, diaries unfinished, letters unopened, each disappearance a thread weaving legend and fear, memory reshaping reality, the phantom regiment alive, invisible yet undeniable. Returning veterans haunted by visions, faces appearing in mirrors, fleeting, familiar, not alive, ghostly reminders, absence louder than words, presence more vivid than life, lingering, persistent, impossible to ignore, stories etched into every shadow, every heartbeat. Nightly spirituals echoed across tents, melodies bending, layered over memory, warnings, guidance, lamentations, footsteps synchronized with unseen rhythm, living intertwined with vanished soldiers, each note a story, haunting, instructive, impossible to escape. Supply convoys reported unseen companions, marching silently, shadows mirroring formations, commands obeyed without sound. Soldiers felt pressure, presence shaping events, guiding action, invisible, yet undeniable, history alive in motion. Smoke rose over abandoned fields, lanterns swayed, shadows moved along streets, soldiers' letters hinted at phantom movements, names disappeared from rosters, marching continued, life and memory entwined, reality blurred, the regiment alive, shaping perception. Soldiers awoke to footsteps circling tents, no one visible, shadows shifted unnaturally, objects moved, letters turned open, whispers carried on wind, regiment present, testing, guiding, shaping destiny, presence in shadow, unbroken, persistent. Fields hummed with echoes of drills, spectral soldiers moving silently, footsteps in rhythm, shadows mirroring formation. Dreams merged with waking reality, memory alive, ghostly precision, hypnotic. Commands obeyed instinctively, unseen yet undeniable. Families whispered of midnight lights, lanterns swinging, shadows marching past, no sound, no bodies. Unease sinking deep, every town, every camp. Stories repeated. Legend reinforcing presence, unstoppable, unforgettable, fear and reverence intertwined. Soldiers carried small kermit objects, letters left behind, fragments of vanished lives, proof of existence beyond the physical, memory embodied in objects, shaping legend, guiding the living, haunting, lingering, invisible, persistent. Dawn approached, fog lifted, yet shadows persisted. Harlem shimmered in early light, echoes of footsteps, murmurs of songs, remnants of men whose fates were unknown. City held its breath, waiting, listening, remembering. Phantom regiment alive, marching forever. Soldiers whispered, voices trembling, dreams recurring, faces fading in moonlight, comrades lost long ago embedded in every step. Ghostly echoes intertwined with present, reality bending, memory tangible, history and legend fused, persistent, omnipresent. Windows rattled, streets empty, footsteps echoing in town squares, shadows aligned, invisible yet undeniable. Townsfolk whispered, fear intertwined with fascination, regiment moving silently, everywhere and nowhere, shaping narrative unseen, haunting the living. Smoke rose over burned fields, lanterns flickered, shadows gliding. Soldiers' letters hinted at unseen forces, phantom marching alongside. Names disappeared, reality blurred, life and memory entwined, footsteps echoing, legend shaping perception. Soldiers saw spectral figures performing drills, marching silently, faces familiar, fading mid-step, dreams intertwined with reality, memory guiding movement. The phantom regiment alive, present in every shadow, every drumbeat, every footfall, unseen, undeniable. Night faded, fog dissipated, Harlem shimmered in the morning light, shadows persisted, echoes of footsteps, murmurs of songs, remnants of men whose fates were unknown. City held its breath, waiting, listening, remembering. Phantom regiment alive, persistent, unyielding. As dawn fully broke, streets of Harlem reflected gold light. Shadows lingered, footsteps echoed. The phantom regiment remained, memory and legend intertwined, guiding the living, shaping history, ever present, unstoppable, unforgettable, marching forever. The battlefield lay silent, tents abandoned, boots left in the mud, yet echoes persisted, footsteps of men who never returned. The phantom regiment lingered, unseen, haunting every memory. Each story whispered in letters, songs, and diaries, a rhythm of absence and remembrance. Families in Harlem woke to empty streets, whispers of vanished soldiers carried by the wind. Windows rattled, doors creaked. Spirituals sung softly in candlelight seemed to bend strangely. Voices overlapping voices, blending memory and warning, history and legend inseparable, shadows marking every corner. Soldiers returned, faces pale haunted, eyes reflecting unseen horrors, dreams filled with spectral comrades marching silently, faces familiar, gestures precise, fading. They carried tokens, letters, remnants of lives lost, proof of existence beyond the physical, memory embodied, shaping the present. Abandoned towns held secrets, boarded windows, cracked streets, fog rolled through alleys, footsteps echoed though no one walked. The phantom regiment moved between worlds, observed, guided, tested, lingering, memory alive in every creak, every echo, every shadow. Reports continued, letters unanswered, diaries torn. Each account deepened legend. The rhythm of absence echoed, fear intertwined with fascination. Phantom figures marching silently, guiding the living, shaping every decision, every heartbeat, legend inseparable from fact. Families whispered spirituals in memory, melodies carrying warnings, guidance, lamentations, each note a bridge between worlds, between the vanished and the living, the past pressing into the present, shadows shaping perception, footsteps echoing, unseen but undeniable. Soldiers carried carved tokens, gifts from friends who vanished, fragments of lost lives, proof of existence beyond physical. The regiment persisted, guiding, watching, shaping memory, legend intertwined with reality, haunting, persistent, unforgettable. Footsteps echoed in abandoned streets, shadows moved unnaturally, whispers carried on wind. Soldiers recalled dreams and visions, spectral comrades marching silently. The phantom regiment alive in every heartbeat, every memory, shaping perception, history itself bending. Smoke rose from fields left empty, lanterns flickered, shadows aligned. Soldiers' letters hinted at unseen companions, names missing from rosters. Marching continued, life and memory intertwined, footsteps echoing, haunting the living, memory shaping reality. Nightly songs carried, spirituals bending strangely in wind, layered over memory, warnings, guidance, lamentations, the living and the vanished intertwined, each note a story, haunting, instructive, impossible to ignore, shaping every heartbeat. Veterans haunted, faces appearing in reflective surfaces, fleeting, familiar, not alive, ghostly reminders of stories never fully told, absence louder than words, presence more vivid than life, lingering, persistent, impossible to escape. Footsteps circled tense, shadows shifted unnaturally, objects moved, letters turned open, whispers on the wind, the regiment tested, guided, shaped destiny, presence in shadow, unbroken, omnipresent, shaping memory, unseen. Abandoned fields hummed with echoes of drills, ghostly precision, footsteps in rhythm, shadows mirroring movement, dreams merging with reality, memory alive, hypnotic, commands obeyed instinctively, unseen, undeniable, haunting, shaping every step. Families reported lanterns swinging at midnight, shadows marching past, no sound, no bodies. Unease sank deep. Every town, every camp, stories repeated, legends reinforcing presence, fear and reverence intertwined, persistent, unstoppable. Soldiers carried tokens, carved objects, letters left behind, fragments of vanished lives, proof of existence beyond physical reality. Memory embodied, shaping legend, guiding living, haunting, lingering, invisible, persistent. Dawn approached, fog lifted slightly, Harlem shimmered, yet shadows persisted, echoes of footsteps, murmurs of songs, remnants of men whose fates were unknown. City held its breath, waiting, listening, remembering. Soldiers whispered, voices trembled, recurring dreams, faces fading in moonlight, comrades lost long ago embedded in every step, ghostly echoes intertwined with present, reality bending, memory tangible, history and legend fused, persistent, omnipresent. Windows rattled, streets empty, footsteps echoed, shadows aligned, invisible yet undeniable. Townsfolk whispered, fear mixed with fascination, regiment moving silently, everywhere and nowhere, shaping narrative unseen, haunting the living. Smoke rose over burned fields, lanterns flickered, shadows gliding, soldiers' letters hinted at unseen forces, phantom marching alongside, names disappeared, reality blurred, life and memory entwined, footsteps echoing, legend shaping perception. Soldiers saw spectral figures performing drills, marching silently, faces familiar, fading mid-step, dreams intertwined with reality, memory guiding movement, the phantom regiment alive, present in every shadow, every drumbeat, every footfall, unseen, undeniable. The city streets held their breath, fog curling between buildings. Echoes of the past lingered, footsteps without origin, voices whispering songs, reminders of men lost but not forgotten. Phantom regiment present, always, memory persistent, shaping perception, haunting collective consciousness. Letters returned undeliverable, diaries incomplete, stories half told, each disappearance a thread, weaving fear and fascination, shadowed figures marching, guiding, observing, shaping history unseen, memory becoming legend, whispers echoing. Spirituals carried through the dawn, melodies bending with the wind, voices layered over voices, warnings, guidance, lamentations, living intertwined with vanished soldiers. Each note a bridge, each melody a story, haunting, instructive, persistent. Footsteps echoed across empty streets, shadows aligned, objects moved without touch. The phantom regiment persisted, guiding, testing, shaping destiny. Memory and legend inseparable, haunting, omnipresent, shaping every heartbeat, every perception. And as the sun rose over Harlem, fog lifted, streets gleamed with light, yet shadows remained. Echoes of footsteps, murmurs of songs, remnants of men whose fates were unknown. The city remembered, listening, breathing, the phantom regiment alive, persistent, unyielding, marching forever, a story never fully told, a history never truly closed.